So good day everyone. Today we'll be discussing about the three major topics related to aircraft maintenance documentation. First off, we have the airworthiness directive compliance entries. Second, we have the FAA Form 337 for major repairs and alterations. And number 3, we have the preventive maintenance reporting requirements. These three areas are essential for maintaining airworthiness and ensuring compliance with FAA regulation. But before we go into the details, it is important to understand why maintenance records matters. Maintenance record matters to ensure the aircraft remains safe, airworthy, and compliant with regulations. They document all inspections, repairs, and component changes, providing traceability and preventing unauthorized work. These records also support efficient maintenance planning, help identify recurring issues, assist during audits, preserve aircraft value, and ensure clear communication among maintenance personnel and operators. So without further ado, let's start with the lesson. So first off, we have the Airworthiness Directive compliance entries. An airworthiness directive is a legally enforceable regulation issued by the FAA under 14 CFR Part 39. ADs are issued to correct unsafe conditions found in an aircraft, engine, propeller, or appliance. When the FAA determines that a particular design or component poses a safety risk, an AD is published requiring specific corrective actions. ADs are not optional, they are mandatory, and non-compliance means that the aircraft is not airworthy. That's why proper documentation matters here. Now, what needs to be recorded in the maintenance records? According to 14 CFR 19.417 A2B, the maintenance record must include several specific details for each AD. These include, number 1, the method of compliance. What exactly was done to comply with the AD, such as inspection, replacement, or modification. Number 2 is the AD number and revision date. Last, if the AD is recurring, the entry must state the time and date when the next action is due. Additionally, according to AC 39-7D and AC 43-9C, the person performing the AD must record compliance under Section 43.9, while the owner or operator is responsible for maintaining the AD record under Section 91.405 and Section 91.417. Why is it important, you may ask? Well, if an AD is not complied with, or if it was not done but not recorded, the aircraft may legally be considered unairworthy. Proper AD entries provide traceability, showing inspectors, auditors, and future owners exactly what mandatory safety work has been done. Some of the best practices for AD entries include: always document what was done, when it was done, who did it, and the next due time for recurring ADs. Second, maintain an organized AD compliance list or matrix to avoid missing mandatory actions. And lastly, third, during ownership transfer, make sure that the AD history is complete and clear. So second topic is about Form 337 Major Repair and Alteration.
Okay, next we will discuss FAA Form 337, which is officially called the Major Repair and Alteration Form. This form is required whenever a technician performs a major repair or major alteration, as defined under 14 CFR Part 1 and Part 43 Appendix A. A major repair or alteration is work that appreciably affects the aircraft's weight and balance, structural strength, performance, power plant operation, flight characteristics, or any factor affecting airworthiness. If the work is simple and does not significantly affect these characteristics, then it is considered minor and does not require a Form 337. So what must be done when a major repair or alteration occurs? First, the Form 337 must be completed in at least 2 copies. One copy is given to the aircraft owner and the other is sent to the FAA Aircraft Registration Branch within 48 hours after approval for return to service. This can also be done electronically. The form must include 1. A complete description of the work performed, 2. The approved data used, 3. A statement of conformity, and 4. The signature, certificate number, and type of certificate of the person who approved the aircraft to return to service. Now, in the aircraft's maintenance logbooks, entries must reference the Form 337. For example, major alteration completed and documented on FAA Form 337 dated underscore. Now, why is Form 337 important? Form 337 is important because it ensures all major structural performance affecting or safety critical modifications are properly documented. This helps maintain aircraft configuration control, supports future maintenance decisions, and protects the validity of the airworthiness certificate. It is generally best practice to ensure the form is properly completed and signed before returning the aircraft to service, to keep all supplemental data such as field approvals and STCs, and to retain Form 337 for the life of the aircraft as required by Section 91.417B. Next is preventive maintenance recording requirements.
Okay, the third topic is preventive maintenance under Part 46, say paragraph C. Preventive maintenance includes simple or minor preservation operations and the replacement of small, standard parts. These do not involve comprehensive operations. Example include replacing wire, servicing wheel bearings, or changing engine oil. So, who may perform preventive maintenance? According to 43.3 G, H, and I, certain individuals may perform preventive maintenance to an aircraft they own, including the pilot owner, as long as the aircraft is not used for hire. However, even though the task may be simple, proper recording is still required. Under Section 43.9, any person who performs preventive maintenance must enter the following information in the maintenance record. First, a description of the work performed or reference to acceptable data. Second, the date of completion. Third, the name of the person performing the work. And lastly, and the signature, certificate number, and certificate type of person approving the aircraft for return to service. Additionally, Section 91.417 requires the owner of operator to keep records of all maintenance and preventive maintenance. This must show what was done, who approved it, and when it was completed. Now, let's talk about record retention. Under Section 91.417, preventive maintenance records must be kept until the work is repeated or superseded, or for at least 1 year, whichever is longer. However, certain records such as AD status, life-limited parts, and major alteration documentation must be kept for much longer, sometimes permanently. So, Why does preventive maintenance documentation matter? Because even though the tasks are simple, incorrect or missing entries can raise questions about the aircraft's airworthiness. Proper documentation also protects the owner, the mechanic, and the operator in case of audits, accidents, or ownership transfer. In summary, AD compliance entries form 337 documentation and preventive maintenance records all play vital roles in ensuring an aircraft remains airworthy and legally compliant. Accurate, complete, and well-maintained records help ensure safety, transparency, and regulatory compliance throughout the aircraft's operational life. That's all. Thank you.
So this is the end of our lesson. Thank you all for listening and have a good day. Thank you. I'm here today with our special guest. Would you like to please introduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm Leandro Gacho. I am an aircraft mechanic currently working at one of the best MRO based here in the Philippines. I am assigned at engine shop for almost 25 years. We are working on CFM 56, B2500, PW1100, Trent 700, and Trent XWB engines.
So for the first question, we have, if an airworthiness directive requires recurring inspections and the aircraft is sold before the next inspection is due, what specific information about the AD compliance must be transferred to the new owner to ensure continued airworthiness?
I am assigned an engine shop, so on my experience, I never encountered compliance of ADs on engines that we are working on. But as far as on my own understanding about ADs, I think if the aircraft was sold, maybe it is important that the list of ADs complied and is still for compliance for that aircraft, especially those ADs that have repetitive inspection, must be transferred to the new owner. And in addition, maybe also the past records of compliances of the ADs, so that the new owner will be sure that the compliance of ADs is updated on that aircraft.
So thank you, Mr. Leandro, for answering my questions. Before we end this interview, do you have any inspirational message to our future aircraft mechanic?
All that I will say is that being an aircraft mechanic is not just a job. It's like being a guardian of the skies. Think about it. Every bolt you tighten, every wire you connect, every system you inspect, you're making sure people get to their families, their adventures, and their dreams safely. It's going to be tough sometimes, for sure. You will face challenges that will test your brain and your patience. But trust me, that feeling when you solve the complex problem and see that plane take off smoothly, there's nothing like it. You're not fixing machines. You're enabling journeys and connecting lives. So keep your head up, stay curious, and never stop learning.